So today we'll be discussing. Today we'll be discussing principle 3, arousing the other person, and figure 1. And so, what will be our main discussion is: should we focus on ourselves when communicating with the other person? And I will like us to start our conversation with a quote from Henry Ford, and it says, "If there is anyone's secret of success, it lies in the ability to get the other person's point of view and see things from that person's angle as well as your own." Hope umepata hiyo. That if there is anyone's secret of success, it lies in the ability to get the other person's point of view and see things from that person's angle as well as your own. Let me start with this. Maybe somebody can share the experience. Have you ever gotten yourself in a situation where this person amekuja tu na their own perspective, with their own point of view, hawataki kusikiza the other person anasema nini, and it will affect maybe your relationship, or may affect your friend's relationship, ama pia wewe mwenyewe umewahi kujipata in a situation where you've just focused on yourself and you ended up losing a friend or a partner or maybe even a girlfriend. Either maybe you ended up losing, maybe an employer or an employee because of that egoistic mindset. Maybe you can share your stories. Let's hear them out. Karibuni, the platform is yours. Rose, Asis, Nana, Samantha, Kelvin, maybe unaweza taka kushare your stories. If not, kindly text hapo no. Ndio tuweze kujua kama tuendelea ama tuangoje kindly. Hello, Hamniski, Calvin.
Ya, sikuwa nakupata. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, kindly. Mtu mwenye ananisikia, Bruce and the rest, can you hear me? Samantha, can you hear me? Asis, can you hear me?
Unanisikia?
Yes, but tunaenda tunakupoteza.
Oh my god, I think ni venye natumia hii lakini inaleta some issues. Okay, nilipotea from her. Hope hamkuweza kusikia ama I just started the entire thing. Can we?
If we have ever lost anyone because we didn't really maybe get their point of view. So sijui the rest can try and communicate ka pia ni hapo ndo walikupotezea ama I'm the only one.
Ati wapi?
You can mute one mic kindly. Sawa, thank you. So hapo hivyo ndio tulikupotezea. Personally hapo hivyo ndio nilikupotezea, so sijui the rest. The rest can confirm. Samantha, Asis, Bruce and Florida. Sijui ka hapo hivyo ndio tulimpotezea wote.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, Beth, you can just start off because you're when you wanna join. Yeah, so yeah, and then we will share our stories. Thank you.
Okay, I'm so sorry for that. I think mimi yangu iko na issue. So I think I have to do my phone, but it's probably time. So I was saying, let's start. Tumeanza early. But initially, let's start the conversation. So, good evening, how have you been? Hope mko poa wote. Naona Florida, welcome Florida. Hizi Maina, welcome Bruce, karibu. Calvin, karibu. Asis, karibu. Hope your week has been well. And hope mnaendelea salama. So, let us have a discussion on principles 3, that is arouse in the other person and either ones. So, tutapeleka hii conversation kidogo mbio since we are supposed to be winding up for the same time ndio tunaanza. So, I'll start this conversation with a quote, and it says, it's Henry Ford's quote. Alisema, if there is anyone's secret of success, it lies in the ability to get the other person's point of view and see things from that person's angle as well as own. Bado mnanisikia? Okay, just confirm kama bado mmenisikia. So, sa kidogo ni my lapi iko na some issues, mtanisamea for that. So, this is our discussion actually, our main discussion today is, should we focus on ourselves by communicating or should we focus on the other person? Kwa sababu tumejipata in situation where na kuhusiana na watu. A good of things like very ambitious girl. Na ningejipata in situation bali I was pushing people so that I may like for them to do what I want. Kwanza kwa watu wenye walikuwa captains, I know this. And I ended up making enemies than friends. And nilikuwa such a lonely soul. And nilikuwa najiuliza like what's up? Kwani ninakosea nani? Then vitu tu zika happen. During the holidays I got to have this book, how to influence people, how to make friends and influence people. I only read 3 chapters. And trust me, it changed. Then nilirudi shule, I started implementing what I'd learned. And surprisingly, at least it was a surprise thing. It was something that I was working on. A friend of mine alikutanga akaniuliza like, hey Ben, kwani what happened? You changed. Like wewe ulikuwa ule mtu mwenye hata huko unataka kujudge majina za watu. Funny enough, a whole year ingeisha na sijui hata jina wa classmate wangu. It was so weird. But that year iliisha hata si that year. 3 months down the line, nilikuwa najua jina za karibu kila mtu wa that form. That's for me nilikuwa, and at that time I was in form 2. Na nilijua kila mtu, and instead of kuita mtu we. I don't know, maybe you've ever experienced such a thing. Ama umewahi kuwa now the other party mwenye this person alikuja na that egoistic mindset. They wanted to push their agenda so much. Wakasau, you are also a human being. The platform is yours. Maybe you can share your story. Let's hear it. Donato, we speak. Maybe come on, if you are willing to share your idea, kindly do. If not, it's okay. Just type no. This is a free country. This is a free country. Free people.
Now, good evening, everyone. Once again, this is Bruce, and I have a little bit of a story that has relevance to the principle we are discussing today. So, late last year, I was an attachee of this company where they used to treat attachees like some sort of tool for use. They make you do what they want, how they want, whenever they want, just because you are an attachee. So normally what used to happen, they used to identify something that you are super good at, then they'll lock you with a lot of work that you are super good at, and promise you something like maybe some money when you're done with the work. So let's say they give you they make you maybe do a lot of data entry work within a span that is almost impossible. Then when you're done with it, what they promised you thought was something big, but they give you something like maybe 200 shillings and you worked for more than the normal hours business. Sometimes you could take work home just to make sure that you get it done, and if you don't get it done, they'll call you to the office and reprimand you. To some extent, that experience made me feel like they are using young people for their own good. They're using young people to benefit themselves and not the other way around. So at the end of the day, it was manipulative, and that sort of made my relationship with senior employees of that company sort of, or like we became frenemies. We no longer have that trust. The trust was no longer there because you always thought of the next time this guy comes to me with work, it's probably because they want to use me to do what they're supposed to do. That's all I can say about all this.
Wow, and for me, I'm really sorry for that. But this within a kind of hard. Ijipata in such platforms where people do take advantage of just because one year and campus and wanaona ni kama wanaweza kubeba mayai, but either way, a place where you get to learn and move on with their life. Hope you heal. So, Kelvin, maybe you have a story. Okay. Asi, maybe kuna ka story yenye unataka kutupea about your experience in ulipitia kidogo. Hey. Sawa. So, for me, what I would say, one, don't focus on you. Everybody is handling their own issues. Everybody has their own duties. They have their own wants. Now, you just try to focus on yourself. Unaweza jifungia something. For example, well, maybe you want to get investors who can with the ideology that this is my company, I need them, like really need them. And you try to push your agenda so much, and you back out when you're on a kid like, is really this or this? Really? Like, ukienda kuongelesha, why don't you try this tactic? Ukisoma the book utapata inasema kama unaweza enda uonyeshe like advantages and disadvantages of them investing in your business. Sema unaweza come up with just like a form. Waambie kwa hii sheet tutafanya hivi. Tutalist the advantages of you joining and the disadvantages of you not joining or investing. Mkilist na make sure wewe mwenyewe umeuza sera yako vizuri. You've listed them down. Na pia the disadvantages. Na pia unaweza sell out the idea that 5 years from now, this is what this company can be holding. Ama the worth of this company can be at this rate, ama at this price. Na ukikosa kujoin saizi, utakuwa umelose a lot. So, wakienda waketi chini, watafikiria like them. Like they'll now be focusing on themselves still, but sasa wata-consider your proposal since it will be of help to them. Sijui kama mmepata hiyo. Trust me, people out here, they don't care about you. Hata mimi hapa, people don't care about you. Naona hapa Whistling Maina anasema, lakini sometimes, let me just read what he has said. Lakini sometimes do you notice our self-interest only interest like 10% of people around us unless they benefit them. Very true, very true. Only mimi hata mimi naweza kwambia, none of your parents trust me. They also do consider themselves. Nani akikupeleka shule? The reason why alikupeleka shule, trust me, one, and make sure hata nimekuwa mkubwa usikuwa burden to them. Amejifikiria hapo. 2, akienda kujiintroduce, atajiintroduce mpaka kusema my son is doing this course. My daughter is doing this course. atakupush uende America because of, yes, they do love you, but trust me, they also have their own interest. Like kuna kale kathing bado haiwatoki, and I think there's sometimes watu wanakuwa end up being hurt so much because wanasahau kuwa people only care about themselves. Trust me, back in relationship. Kama forgive me for saying this, I'm sure ukijaribu kukatia mtu unafikiria like unaangalia huyu mtu nikitembea huku nje nitaonekana naye aje, atakuwa mtoto mama mzuri kwa watoto wangu, atawasaidia na homa, kuacha kudanganyana. So if you want to get the other party, or if you want to get a spouse, make sure one, you are of value to them. Usiende tu unataka tu, usikwe lazima usikwe mchwa ni unakula tu, lakini you don't bring value to like me kwa huyo mtu mwingine. Ndio sasa kitu kingine imekuwa like tukisema like kama like machaliwa wanauliza like what are you bringing on the table. Mimi siwezi support, yes girls we have like our huge responsibilities and all that, but at the same time make sure that you are valuable. Apart from the womb, make sure that you are of value to your mom, to the family that you're going to. Make sure that you are of value. Eka kitu kwa kichwa, ufikiria kuwa mtu. So that's my point of view. Sijui kama kuna mtu mwingine mwenye anaweza taka contribute anything to that before niendelee. Okay. So sijui Kelvin. Najua kwanza ndio unapokuwa ukiongea sana hapa na umenyamaza. Yeah, okay. Anyway, on our next discussion, please nitakuwa mimi nataka tuendelee kidogo. Ndio maybe kama mtu alikuwa amepanga some other things to do. So, the next point is the only way on earth to influence the other people is to talk about what they want and show them how to get it. The same thing. I think now the main question seems to me totally how do you show them that this thing will be of importance to them? Hiyo ndio kitu yenye tunafaa kuulizana. How do you show them, or how do you like state, like apart from you just being of help to me, this thing can be of help to me. And another thing, what should we do before we actually present our needs to other people? What are you open? Somebody to take up? Yes.
Hello again. Hello everyone. Now, how do you sell the idea that what you're proposing is going to benefit the other person? Essentially, what you have to understand is this: we humans, to some extent, we are usually motivated by our own interests. Now, if you find a way to trigger that interest and tailor it in a way that will make us feel that we'll have maybe a personal gain from a given activity, we are going to strive to do that very task before, because we know deep down that there's a gain out of all this. So, assume you want to make, let's say, your classmates or your friend to do something for you, or let's say your colleague, and you have this proposal on how to do so. Let's say we are in the digital era where we use a lot of digital skills. Let's say your friend or your colleague at work is used to doing things manually, and you, because you've learned maybe a lot of digital skills, you've learned a number of tools that can help them reduce repetitive work and increase efficiency in their jobs, you can propose to them how to use maybe a specific tool to reduce the redundancy in work. And at the end of the day, it's not only going to benefit you, but then it will benefit you in the sense that you are going to show them how to use that very tool to improve, to increase the efficiency. And you're going to learn even more about how to use that tool. So at the end of the day, what you're proposing will ultimately benefit the both of you. So the best way to make anyone do anything that will have mutual benefit at the end of the day is by presenting specific suggestions that emphasize what they'll gain. Try to make your ideology more attractive. Make it attractive in the sense that there is something in for them if they do what you're proposing for them to do. Yeah, so that's all I can say about these ideology.
Wow. Watu wa AI, watu wa AI. Mtu wa IT, what can you say? Kelvin, naona vitu vitakuchomea kidogo, lazima ufungue mic. What can you say? Like concerning that point, how can you actually bring out your proposal in such a way that this person will not be defiant, like Atona, this thing will be of benefit to me, and they'll be willing to take it up. Bado tukirudi for what our brother amesema, people out here don't care one, and the only people who truly care about it is only like 10%. So what's what can you say, Mr. Calvin?
So thank you so much. I'm sorry the other time my mic was misbehaving. I could not be able to speak. So sorry guys for that. But what I will say is that first of all, thank you, Mr. Bruce. That was so thoughtful of you. Yeah, so concerning the same, I'll just want to pick it up from where Bruce left, where he had mentioned about company. And sometimes, there are people who really lost their job, and that was not really, it was not supposed to be meant so. I usually say, in as much as
Mr. Calvin, umepotea.
okay.
Mr. Calvin, Nama.
Sorry, my network is buffering. Says you can hear me.
Yes.
Okay. So thank you. So as I was saying, there are people who really lost their job, not because they were meant to do so, but they were so honest. But I usually say, even if you're so honest and so sincere, there is always a way to express it. It should be within the confines of wisdom, as my brother said. And as we mentioned about how to win people and influence, how to win friends and influence people. For instance, maybe just the same way, it's important to first of all appreciate, if it is for instance in your workplace or even in your company, I believe there is a way you should, for instance, an employee has done something that is wrong. I believe there is a way you should correct that employee. For instance, start by appreciating him, including your friends at school, and then come with words that will make the person feel important and feel valued. Because the moment you make, even you yourself, honestly, if anybody make you feel lesser and feel that you are not appreciated, you're not valuable, immediately you detest that person. So there are people that went to companies. I just wanted to add on what my brother had said. They went to company and they saw something was running wrong, and they went with their sincere
Umepotea.
This is not. Oh God, so sorry. Allow me to work on my network and then I'll get back. Kindly.
Unaweza malizia tu.
Oh, okay. So as I just finished, I said, so she went to the boss. A story. Actually, it's a real story, and going to the boss, he's like, she was like, boss, this is not working. And the boss felt she wasn't really appreciating. But you can find another person goes to the boss and he's like, what, boss, thank you for giving me this opportunity, and thank you. It has been 3 years, 4 years working with you. It has been time of learning and grow, and I truly appreciate you. But what do you think if we do it this way? It's not that it's, what do you think? Of course, the boss will come to a place and is like, wow, at least you appreciate, but not only complaining. So even your friends, please begin by, even if no matter how wrong the friend is, appreciate the positive part of it, because what happened when you appreciate a person, he feels. And of course, as we continue, we'll learn that one of the things that in that book you'll learn is that there are 3 things that drive any human being, whether a child, an adult, whether he is a student, a pastor, or even the worst criminal. There are 3 things that every human beings need. Number 1 is they need to feel valued. That is what we are talking about. They need to feel appreciated, and they need to feel loved. Is one of the most powerful laws. So I believe that when we talk about value, show value to your bosses, show value to your friends, and of course, trust you me, there is nobody who can be able to become or has developed an antidote. Is it an antidote or something that he just disregard honor? The moment you honor them and everybody feel appreciated, immediately you have won the heart of that person. So that is what I can say. Thank you so much.
Wow. Watu tunasema points mnono. Is there anyone else, maybe he or she has something to say before tuendelee? Na hope mko comfortable. You can communicate in any language. Unasikia watu huko wanaongea Kiingereza mingi. Yeah, as much as possible nataka vitu zikuje chini. So hapa naona Kelvin anasema people don't follow titles, they follow who they value. Ama amesema nini? People don't follow titles, they follow those who value them. Amazing. This reminds me of a podcast and I was listening to, was it yesterday or Monday? The day before yesterday, ilikuwa inasema of on like a tip of how to get now these billionaires to be your friends. Ilikuwa inasema just a simple thing: have a genuine relationship with them. Send to those networking events ikiwa na one goal. Mimi nauza mayai and my mission is to get clients. If you want to have valuable clients, clients when you're huko juu, trust me, hautapata. Because most of these people, they like people, they only come to them or they want to have a relationship with them because of their selfish, not because they really want to connect with them. And funny enough, sometimes the journey of entrepreneurship and success in a former such a lonely journey that if you find that one friend, so these people crave for that. They already have the money. What they are craving for is genuine relationship. Because trust me, these people will pass out of the back. These people they've gone through hell. People because they know they have money. Government ni kwetu watafuta nini. So mtu akipata that genuine friend watamshikilia. Ukitaka kupandishwa cheo vizuri sana in employment, make this employer feel valued. Let them know that they can trust. Sawa? let them know that hata ukienda mahali, like for you, you're not there because of their selfish motive. And there's something else in nilikuja kusikia, and ukienda kuajiriwa one, usiende kusema ati I'm here to get skills, then after getting skills I'm going to start my company. Nani atakubali kukuajiri akijua ati wewe mwenyewe you are going to be their own competitor? Uongo. That thing nilikuwa nasikiza over nilisikiza madam alikuwa anasema she was having an interview, she wanted to employ someone in a position, then that person was so qualified and he had the skills that she wanted. Then the last question akamuuliza, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Ajua nini? In the next 2 years, for the next 2 years, I'm going to learn the skills which I get to exercise them here. After getting the knowledge and the skills, I'm going to start my exact an exact replica of this company. Do you think that's what atakuajiri surely? So hapo mfikirie kidogo. Naona Mr. Wawero ako karibu sana. Yes, we are discussing on principle 3, that is arousing the other person and eager one. Like, what should you do so that this the party when you never move the letter, they don't feel you're just there for your own gain, but at the same time they feel what you are proposing will be of value to them, na pia ndiweze kukubali what you're bringing on board. So yes, so in our next discussion, we are going to discuss on how you can actually make this person want to do. Yes, tumeongelea you should bring up the proposal in such a way that I feel there's something in for them. So somebody to just give an example, like a real life situation, what can you do? Like, just give an example. Umeenda mahali, this person akona, maybe you are starting a company, you want this person to be an investor. What can you actually make that person to join your support you? Yes, the floor is yours. Let me just rewind what an experiment. The question is, how can you make this person want to do what you propose? How can you make this person want to do it? Simple. Like, just give a real life situation. Like, just give an example. What can you do? Seme kama ni wewe kids, umeenda mahali and you want somebody to employ you, or you want maybe some sponsors to come on board, support your company. What can you do? Yes. Bruce. Naona watu ni kama the question imekuwa mzito, wametoroka.
Okay, now, based on what I previously mentioned, we as humans are usually motivated by our own interests. So if you can find a way to leverage that interest for mutual benefit of every party, it can be good for everyone. An example could be, let's say your friend has invited you, or you're inviting a friend over the weekend, but they really don't want to come. So what you can do, you can clearly explain to them why this will benefit everyone, in the sense that if you two are going to share an activity, both of you will have fun and have a chance to relax and catch up. So at the end of the day, doing so, like clearly explaining to them what is in for them for sharing an activity with you, they may be persuaded to join that activity. So simply explain yourself in a clear and concise way that would make them buy your idea. Just be a good salesperson for your idea. Sell your idea like you really mean it. You really know the value. The value you're proposing is for mutual benefit. It has no tied interest. It has no so. It is selfless in nature. Just try to frame your invite or an activity in terms of benefits. That's all I can say for now.
Okay, Mr. Bruce, kindly give us give us a real life example. Because of put yourself in that person's shoe. You're the company, you're the student who umetoka company. You want to get unemployment. Give us an example of what you can have to do. Like, sema nitaenda kwa the employer, nifanye 1, 2, 3, ama the company, I'll do 1, 3, then nini wakikataa, I'll do this. Akisema nini, I'll reply like this. Just an example, since I'm certain we might go in that spot. Yeah.
Okay, now about a real life example. Let's say you want to secure an employment in this company that you always wanted to work for, and you have had that chance to have an interview with maybe the chief executive officer. So in an interview, what usually happens, you are selling your idea to them, you are selling your value proposition to them. You're essentially trying to explain how you are going to benefit the company and maybe yourself. But most of the time what normally happens, for you to convince them, you have to have a clear explanation of what value you really bring. Let's say you did a business degree. They expect you to only do things that are related to accounting, let's say accounting or finance. If they don't buy that ideology of you have proficiency maybe in an accounting software like QuickBooks, you can try and make the value proposition more persuasive in terms of, apart from me knowing how to use maybe this accounting software, I'm also super good with something like Google Workspace. I can work using different apps for different activities, for different administrative tasks. Apart from that, you can maybe convince them that you're super good at this activity. Let's say you're super good at using artificial intelligence tools to streamline activities across board. You can use any tool for any activity, any day. What you do is you're trying to explain to the employer that I have these diverse capabilities of bringing in value to your organization. So if you employ me, as much as maybe I have a business degree, I can not only do things related to business, I also have some other certifications in different fields. Maybe I can use a software like Microsoft. I'm super good in Microsoft Excel maybe. I'm super good in Microsoft Office suite. I can use Google Workspace. I can use a number of maybe artificial. I'm super good in using. I have expertise in artificial intelligence. At the end of the day, you're trying to present your value in terms of, if we're going to work together, I'm going to bring tangible results in your organizations. And to make the proposition even better, you can even show them some of the projects that you did using these softwares that you're talking about to cement your argument about how, the kind of benefit you're going to bring to this organization. So that's what I can say about this, in a real life scenario. You just be diverse. I cannot only do this, I have a diverse skill set. I can do a number of things. And if this is not enough for you, you can see a number of things I've done. There's a number of projects I've done using these tools, these softwares. So if you do that, they may be convinced to hire you, because at the end of the day, they're sure this guy can do this because this is what he did with this software. And the evidence is here. The evidence is the project that I did. So at the end of the day, They're convinced because you've shown them a tangible result in a clear and concise way. You've shown a specific example of what you can really do. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Is somebody else maybe anaweza taka kushare what they can do maybe to get that job or to get that investor or to convince maybe a friend of something. But maybe for me inaweza kuwa maybe a breakthrough. Na kitu imekuwa ukiriri and we can share our thoughts. Kwambia usifanye fanya hii. Yes, the floor is yours. The mwingine mwenye akona something to say before we proceed. Ninaona hapa tunakuwa requested kama maybe unataka kuongea kwa lugha ya mama ongea tutatranslate hapo kwa inaitwaje kama kwa substitute. Yes, we'll do that. So if you have something to say kindly do, na pia ukiona kama maybe you're not in a comfortable environment where you can talk, maybe the place is a bit busy, just right. Labda uko na swali, please just type in there. I will get in these discussion issues before you ask your question. That's the benefit of being here at podcast. Hiyo wanapenyewe unatangoja tu what is the podcast ama I mean free session tukiwatumia via YouTube ama kwingine, but the advantage that you have is that you get to ask the questions, you get to actually exercise the principle. Nikimaliza kama nitavyofuata nitasoma mwenyewe. Yes. So in our next point I want us to discuss sasa hapa ndio tunaingia kidogo kwa business. So let's discuss on how to make a customer by not actually selling it to them. Because we support that space, customers like to feel that they are buying, not being sold. So, in a real situation, maybe wewe umekuwa, funny enough, you get to sell yourself. It's either you sell yourself or you get sold. There's a book on that in nature it was sell or get sold. I think one of these days we'll have to go through that book. It's very, very interesting. How do you get to sell without actually selling? How do you get to have that job without you working too much? Najua kuna watu wenye wanakwanga tu LinkedIn, kuna watu wenye wanakwanga social media na watapata job. Kama for example Aziad alikuwa tu ana dance and funny enough, hivyo ndio venye alikuja kwa ambassador wa entertainment in Kenya. So how do you do that? How do you get to have your products being bought without you kind of kuboa naenda ukikujazia maads kwa zinaenda zikiblock our videos like for YouTube. How do you actually sell without how do you make these people buy without you actually selling? Yeah, the floor is open. Let's share ideas. Yes, kindly come on if we are comfortable. Maybe share your ideas. Maybe how would you do that? so boring.
Yeah. Now, hello again, everyone. Now, how do you sell or how do you sell effortlessly? What you can essentially do is super simple. Let your reputation precede you. In the tech world, before you get employed, let's say as a software engineer, the tech company employing you, they really need to be sure if you're good at maybe making like creating software. So what they usually do, they assess the projects you did before. And if the projects you did before were good, the chances of you getting employed is higher. Same with any other profession. Let's say before you get formally employed or get like an official contract, you worked as a volunteer for a certain non-governmental organization as an assistant project manager. And during that tenure, when you are a volunteer, you really did a good job. You made a certain project really successful and impacted maybe a certain community. So at the end of the day, because you're really good assistant project manager as a volunteer, there are high chances that another NGO dealing with the same development programs will be interested in you because you have a track record, like your reputation precedes you. That's all I can say about this for now.
So what is actually saying is one, create a name for yourself. So this thing, and most of us usually take advantage, and I've seen it work wonders. Umeiona kitu inafanya lengo huu ukajiuliza like, kwa nini nimekuwa nikifanya nini? I know of a friend when we were in the same primary school. My class, actually one of my close friends back at Paris. And alianza tu kimchezo. Alianza tu kimchezo kupost nini nitwaje TikTok akidance nini akiact na that was a talent yenye tulivangana kutoka tuwa nini wadogo. Mimi nikalalia talanta yangu ya alikuja akavuma naye. Says she's one of the influencers, TikTok influencers, and she gets paid a lot of money just because of that, because of her name. Like she's an ambassador to so many companies. She gets to market to so many products, and they have to be paid. And everything if I had within the like. Okay, congratulations, girl. Like, what have I been doing with my life? And it was a wake up call, and I think we should also think about this. In your career, in your field, in what you want to do, am I in your passion? Are you creating a soft landing for yourself? Are you creating a name in which it will open up doors for you when you choose to take that step? A good, let's say a good example, a good way to explain this. One, we have two kinds of branding. We have a personal brand, and the second one is branding maybe for a company, the career that you want to do, the field that you want to pursue. Personal branding is not just posting on TikTok and showing people what you can do and all that. That's part of it. But the first step to take is how do people view you? Behind the closed doors, like when you're not there, what do Kate say about you? What do Bruce say about you? What do Samantha say about you? That is the main question. When you're no longer there, what can they actually say about you? Tunasemanga kunanga something new in this world. Mtu akiwatch a TikTok kama akiwatch something, can they mention your name and maybe wonder like some similarity of my in character or something, as in by the way, huyu anafanana na nani. And one of the ways to create a personal brand is just in the simple thing. Are you reliable? Ukisema you'll do something, you do it. Okay, and when you go for an appointment, do you arrive there in time? Because these things zina compile. Sababu trust me, nikitaka kukurefer to somebody else. One, I know wewe mwenyewe you're not reliable. Ukipewa kitu, you don't do so. Like, okay, hata exam yenyewe haupitani. Like, okay, kupita yes, academically it's not really, nitasema aje, like a way ya kujaji mtu. Lakini kuna venye tu, apart from hata do you even attend classes watu wenye kwa campus? Like, kama uko una attend classes, kama kufanya group discussion ulikuwa unakuwa pushed, how can you actually tell me and convince me that nikikupeleka mahali that job will get it done? Hey man, my life, my name is at stake, that one. Two is, who do you hang around with? Nakumbuka there is a time I visited my friend, akasema, mama kwa hiyo style yenye niko, I don't associate with so many people, but when my name is mentioned, this guy is like, he's one of my mentors. I did job, but I honor him. He's very young. I think he's around 25, but unajisikianga wale watu wenye wako rich in disguise, ni those kind of people. Na ako below 25 years. Yes, girl ananiambia hata nilikuwa kama alikuwa anasema, watu wako na marafiki wengi, but rafiki yake akitaja atasema, wewe ni nani mwenye tunavutanga na yeye? Like, akisema kama nini inaitwa, akipata kazi atakuja kusema, wala ni rafiki yangu mwenye tulikuwa tunachoma na like, hata mtu mwenye atamsikia like, hata akipeleka hiyo information kwa boss. Really? But ukiona this good reputation kwa huyo ni nani mwenye alikusaidia katika competition mahali fulani, cool. Good. Huyo nani alikuanga you in company, that means that person is reliable. Pia ndio maana nasema your friends mean a lot in your personal branding. What are the people you associate with? Hata wenyewe wako behind closed doors, like they can actually speak positive about you, that one. And pia kwa friendship, hata hiyo crew yenye unatembea nayo, watu wengine hata wakiona hiyo crew, they can actually respect you. Kwa sababu there's this verse in Proverbs inasema, those who, nasemangaje, tell me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. And Apostle Joshua Salman alisemanga vizuri sana in one of his sermons, when you're around 3 successful people, you have counted wrong. Therefore, why? You're the fourth one. But the fact that you're working with them, you're the fourth person. Now, if they're working with 3 foolish people, actually, ume count it wrongly. Well, they're actually four. That means you're the fourth person. So, hautaniambia ati kwa sababu yes, where you are clever, but you are wise, but you are working in a friendship, in a group and you're full. Kwa sababu maybe that you won't change your character, but your name, trust me, itakuwa defined. Watu wenye wanakuona ukitembea na hiyo group watakuchafulia juu. So, that's one. So, are you reliable? Well, who are your friends? 2, get to let people get to know you. Naona kama unacheza basketball shule, watakuiwekea. Post social media. Hata deka umeenda competition, post. Umeenda rehearsals, post. Unafanya sijui unatengeneza beats, post. Kama unafanya kama kitu kama public speaking, post. Post. Kama unapika, post. Mkifanya like projects shule sijui nini, please post. Kama unasoma kitabu, my dear, post. Kwa sababu trust me, these people out here, they really get your data. Ukienda kutafuta employment, this thing really shocked me. You know, there's a way that these employers, some of these big business people, they get to the servers and whenever assess what you actually post on your social media. And unaweza dhani ni uongo, but trust me. Nani hiyo period yenye anasemanga ati will call you after. Unaona wanaenda kufanya nini? Hivi waliona qualification yako iko sawa. But maybe kuna kitu yenye ulifanya social media enye wakirelate inaweza affect their brand. Usisahau, people are selfish and they focus on themselves first. So, create a personal brand. Post. My dad used to say, and he told me at the beginning of this year, that watu wenye wanatakanga for behind the scene, they get cramped. In what way? A good example is an actor. An actor atakuja act mbele ya the camera, tutamjua kama Becky, kila mtu anamjua. Mtu atadhani after Becky ameact hivyo ndio vimeisha kwake, but funny enough, no, I've worked with them, that's not where their journey ends. One, this person amejitengenezea jina, advertisements atapata. Two, ataita na some other productions. By the fact tu alikuwa too big, yeah, because sababu anact vizuri. By the fact alikuwa amepewa hiyo role Becky, now the people of Kenya know her, atapata that breakthrough. So, as much as possible, don't be the camera person. Not about the camera person. Make sure you post and let people know that you are the camera person who actually was in charge of cinematography for Becky. Kwa sababu unataka kusema mwenye alikuwa cinematographer wa Becky, hataenda places that person need. But hatumjui, Netflix haimjui, but Netflix inajua. So, how are you building your personal brand? And I'll finish up with this other example. My dad alikuwa ananiambia, between ule police mwenye anafanya kierere, atajaribu sana kuonekana na boss, na ule mwenye anashinanga tu ametulia. Nani unadhani mwenye anakujanga kulipa kukula pesa mingi? Definitely ule mwenye anafanya kierere, because atapandishwa cheo. But kuna mapolisi wengine wataishi in the same position for years mpaka waretire wakiwa hapo. Why? Hawakuwa wanaweza kuonyesha their value. So, are you creating your personal brand? Mimi nasemanga kierere ni nzuri kwa sababu mimi kierere nimepeleka places. It has made me meet up with so many people. So, how are you building your personal brand? Me, what I can say, be aggressive. Ajani nimeongea sana. That's what I can say concerning that point. So, how to make people buy without you actually selling for them? Show them the value of the product or the service, then quote your price. Full stop. Mwenye hataki wacha aende. Bosi anasemanga usishukishe your prices because of someone. Get to show them the value of that thing. Wakikuja, you don't bargain the price, you bargain the value. Now, ukifika hapo, you can actually price your product or your service anyhow you want, because you've shown how valuable, like you've shown what they can actually get from you. So they'll come and buy it free. A good example ni inaitwa bushy bag. Bushy bags wa kujenga kuambia ubuy. But the reason mbona kila mtu anataka kupata Gucci ama Lamborghini, it's because of the brand. That means unajua Lamborghini iko aje. Kwa nini acha tu niwape this story. Do you know Lexus is just a designed brand ya Toyota. It's just Toyota. So Toyota walikuwa nauliza like tumekuwa tukiuza magari but we cannot hike our prices because tulieka this company ama the brand of Toyota quite cheap and affordable. So kauliza like how do we hike the prices? Ndio introduce a luxurious car hawatakosa kubuy because your Toyota the brand is cheap and affordable. So what they did, wakauliza, so what are you introducing? A luxurious car sold to the US. So hiyo ikaleta nini? Lexus. Luxurious, expensive to the US. Lexus. And also so many people don't know this. Lexus is just Toyota, but they were branded differently. So how are you branding your stuff? Simple. I'll stop it. It's there. Na tuendelee. Eje nimeongea sana and time is really going. We have 2 more points, then we end our discussion. The next thing is the world is full of people who are grabbing and self-seeking. So the rare individual who is unselfish, forces to serve others, has an enormous advantage. He has little competition. So this is what I want us to discuss. How can you serve people in such a way that they don't feel like you're pushing your agenda, but you're actually paying for the service? Do you come you've gotten that? How can you serve fully and without selfish motives? At the same time, you get to gain from it. Yeah. Somebody anaweza ongea before niongee. Let me just repeat it in the pardon. So how can you serve wholeheartedly? Now what was to say like you're pushing your agenda, at the same time gain from it? Hapa tunauliza hard questions. Now that's the beauty of now Empire Books Arena is you get to read the book, but we get to discuss it based on the real life situation. How can we apply it? It's okay. You're going to start people. You're going to be considering our audience. So how can we actually focus on the audience and serve them at the same time gain from it? Yeah, somebody.
Okay. Hello everyone. Sorry if I do a lot of hellos like Aluya. Maybe I am now. How do you establish a mutual benefit grounds? How do you ensure that what you're proposing will benefit everyone and doesn't come out as selfish? You can practice empathy or active listening. How does active listening looks like? Let's say in personal relationships, sometimes you get the other person upset, and how do you get them to not be upset? You can practice active listening. How do you do that? You first listen to them attentively without interrupting. Then after you've listened to them, you try and validate their feelings before offering advice. You try to understand them. You try to understand what really made them upset and how can they get out of that situation. When you do that, at the end of the day, you're not only offering emotional support to them, but you're also learning yourself how you can deal with anger the next time it happens. Because the next time maybe you'll be the person who is upset and your friend is the one to console you. So if you practice active listening with them, you essentially listen to them and understand them, they'll probably build a rapport and trust with you, so that next time when they have something they need to confide in, they need a confidant, they'll approach you because they trust you. Because the last time they were in such a situation, you were there for them. You were there to understand why they are in the situation they are. So you can try do the active listening thing, or you can try practice empathy. Apart from that, what you can really do to ensure that you establish a basis of mutual benefit, try and understand and acknowledge the other person's point of view. When you do that, you'll build a genuine connection. Sometimes we don't agree on different issues. What makes sometimes arguments become destructive is because parties involved maybe in an argument are not willing to listen to each other's point of view honestly. They are clinging to their own ideology about a discussion. This is usually normal when it comes to discussing politics. People understand politics different ways. So how do you practice empathy in difficult situations? What you do is very simple. Try to understand and acknowledge the other person's point of view. Try and accommodate it. Try to understand, why is my friend clinging to this ideology? What is so attractive to this ideology that made my friend to align with it? Try to understand that before you make your point. So if you practice empathy and active listening in a specific way, at the end of the day, you're going to build genuine human connection with your friend, and that will build trust with them. That's what I can say about this for now.
Wow. Naona uhitaji kuwa tu peke yake, tunaanga 8 to 5 plan. You can always learn anytime. So get to understand the other person's point of view. Amazing. So get to understand them. That's what I've gotten from Mr. Bruce. Get to understand them. So someone else, nani mwingine, naona Kelvin amejoin. Kelvin, our discussion, we are asking about our main thing that we are discussing at this point is how can you serve others, since we are talking on how to focus on the audience or the people that we are serving. How can you serve others at the same time gain from it without having selfishness? Like your heart is pure and all that. How can you serve them at the same time gain from it? Mr. Kelvin? Mr. Kelvin, tunaona ni kama nataka kuongea lakini hatukusikii. Okay, maybe network kidogo. Welcome, Amina. We are so humbled by the fact that you joined us. Karibu sana to Empire Book Arena discussion. So, what I can say from this, I'll just second what Peter said. One, get to understand your audience. And two, be of value to them. I'll just repeat what I've just said. as much as possible, let me just say this. Let your cup full that it can let your cup be full and let it run it over. I think that's a verse in the Bible. Like let your cup be full. Okay, is it run over? Like focus on your value so much that you can actually share it with other people. In our yesterday's discussion, we were thinking that don't do to another person what you don't want without thinking. So, kama mwenyewe huwezi kula chakula yako, mama, dear sir, don't let the other people eat your food. If you cannot listen to yourself speak and learn from yourself, dear sir, madam, keep quiet, go read books. Okay? Like, let you build so much value that when you choose to quantify your value, nobody can object. You come and like focus on yourself so much in such a way that will be of value to them. But then when you come and quantify your value, they won't object. Okay? Hawa tu wenye unaona kama there is mbona ukienda soko unaweza enda ubagin lakini hauwezi enda ubagin price ya Lamborghini. It's so simple. Value ya Lamborghini kujua and the brand yenye wamebuild is so hard. But sometimes unajua unaweza enda ununue avocado na iharibike ukirudi home. Ukifika home upate imeharibika. Because of that mindset, and you're trying to as much as possible to secure that product. In case hata kama backfire unajua tu bora nilibagain. Because of that, ndio maana tunakuanga na I'm sorry for that. Kama nje kidogo kumekuwa na sama. Issues kwa neighbor. But anyway, let's proceed. So, I'm sorry for that, guys. Like just may God open doors that we may have our own houses. In Jesus' name. Ay, you're tutakuwa distracted in such things. So, let's proceed. What was I saying? I will just confirm for speak a little. Yeah, injured, kindly confirm before in the left. I'm still talking or anything. Okay, then I can put a break and then so fully like you hope I'm going to the free show. Yeah, behind the scene. So let's proceed. So what I was saying is make sure what you're bringing on board is of value so that when you choose to quantify it, people won't object because wanajua value yake ni gani na venye tu pia nini get to create your brand. So naona venye sometimes ukipanga ukule chakula mahali na this food imepikwa hata mimi kumpea 80 shillings hapo kidogo nimefinya. But kuna wengine unaenda unakula chakula unasema I've really wasted my eating. There's some places you go and you take a drink or maybe sikunyagi pombe. So nikisema drink msizai pale you go in a certain place you take a drink of maybe coffee. And this coffee it's so unique. Like hata kama wamesema ni 100 shillings, it's for like it's more. But in other hotels, because now they just want to copy other hotels, wameweka 100 shillings. Kama hii chai kuja kukunywa hapa, pengine tu nifike kwangu hata ingekuwa better. So as much as possible, serve people with good intentions, and as much as possible, do to them what you want to be done to you. So, like, give your all. Don't have selfish motives. Trust me, when you do, they will respect you. Not okay, if you state your price, they will respect you. Not okay, like when you're giving, maybe umekuwa employed, umeenda to that company, unapea the best. First, you need kwa mtu mwenye ani mzuri, a good employer. Akiona like of this, ukisema like I want to leave, trust me, afadhali akuongezie salary than to lose you. But kuna watu wengine wenye watu wanaendanga ku resign, the company nasema, oh, hallelujah, glory to God, ameenda. Tulikuwa tunapanga vile tutamtoa, but God amefanya kizuri. So don't be such kind of a person. As much as possible, be of value. Like mpaka ukitaka kutoka sema, hapana. Like mpaka your boss akisikia you're starting a company, anajua you work so hard. Hey, hata mimi mwenyewe I want to be an investor in your company, man. Because wanajua like the potential that you carry, the value that you have, hard work like you can have, like they'll be ready to work with you in that journey because they know who you are. So what do people say about you? Okay? Get to serve them without selfish motive, and don't do to others what you don't want to be done to you. Someone maybe when you anataka kusema kitu about that point.
Guys, can you confirm my network today is buffering? Sujay, can you hear me?
Yes.
So wow. That's amazing. I'm really learning a lot. Sincerely, it's important that we does not only remain with knowledge, but we also go to a place of application. So I'm really taking notes and I'm learning a lot. But I just
we are learning a lot. Tumesimamia hapo. Take it from there.
So sorry. Bado imesimamia hapo. We are learning a lot. You can confirm through an emoji or something, please.
Yes, tuko hapo.
Okay, so as I was saying, I believe in value and I believe in also investing in yourself and making yourself valuable. I usually have learned through life that the only thing that happens that grows naturally is your age and sometimes your body. But of course, even your body, you'll need to work for it. But if it comes to your mindset, when it comes to you becoming valuable, it's something that you will have to take it personal, that you decide, you know what, I have to grow. I have to, I have to be valuable. That as long as I'm doing IT, if I get an opportunity to work in that company, I tell you the truth, that you come to a place where you agree with yourself that I can only become the best employee. Yes. That is the kind of mindset that I carry. And it's so, like, I sometimes I feel bad for some few friends of mine that sometimes they come and they're like, you know what, Kelvin, me everywhere I go, I cannot succeed. I cannot, I cannot be the best employee. You're like, why? And they don't have enough reasons, but they won't add value to their life or to their mind because they feel they cannot succeed. It's a mindset. I can tell you, it's a mindset. So it's upon us to make our mind that, if you're going to start a company, it cannot fail. And even if it means to fail, it was only, you didn't fail, it was a time for you to learn. You just learned a lesson, you wake up and start again. And you know that company cannot fail again. You carry just a very positive mindset that you drive your energy towards positive things so that can add.
Turudi that can add, umepotea from there. Hatukusikii Calvin.
Please bear with me.
Proceed, tunakusikia. Mtambo imepotea, wetu tusaidie. So Calvin, ukiweza kupick your connection, kindly with a text too, then we can proceed from Umetika. As of now, let's proceed. So the next, I hope you may get that. So as much as possible, be of value before you quantify your service or your product. Make sure this thing is serving the audience. Focus on them. Don't focus on funds and the money. Ukiona venye itakuwa value to them, now quantify. Jiweke in their position. If I was the audience, if I was the employer, will I want such kind of a service? Will I want such kind of an employee? If yes, go ahead. If no, work on the start fast. So the next point is we have two more, then we end the meeting. Most people go through college and learn to read and master the mysteries of calculus without ever discovering how their own mind functions. Let me repeat that. Most people go through college and learn to read and master the mysteries of calculus without ever discovering how their mind functions. A very good example, let me just state this before I leave the platform for other people to contribute. A good example is, have you mastered your sleeping pattern? Like that thing you was so super intentional with. I'm getting to learn myself. Like, akili yangu inalalanga for how long? Funny enough, nilikuwa nataka kujua like how, like kwani nimekuwa like this. Forgive me, but I'm overambitious girl who wants to own the universe in her 20s. Yeah, so I Googled, I searched, I watched these videos on how long these billionaires sleep in Mark Zuckerberg, in Elon Musk, like how long do they sleep, at what time do they wake up? And funny thing, really, like, this will blow my mind. They work, then they sleep in such a way that walikuwa wanasema sleep is one thing that if you don't get to have it, your energy for the day will be drained. So most of them, they get to sleep at least 7 to 8 hours. In the figure, this is the truth. You can actually start. Look about for him, no, the owner of Apple, for him, he works sijui saa ngapi usiku, hakustate masenye huwa analala, but he wakes up at 8. I watch another billionaire and anasema for him he wakes up at 10. There's somebody mwingine alisema for him he wakes up when the sun rises. Zote ndio ukisikia ndio utaamka. Kuna mwingine mwenye alikuwa anasema for him actually nini, kuna mwingine alikuwa anasema exactly at around 8 to 10 hiyo ndio time yake ya kulala. So when you understand committee, if you want to be successful, you have to sleep at what time? You have to sleep late and wake up early. Mama, you will die. My dear brother, you will die. And trust me, your energy will be drained for the day. It's either you won't be able to concentrate or like you won't function. For me, nimekuja to observe this or to be clear on this one. People are different. Don't try to be a morning owl yet you're a night owl. Kama ni mtu kama ni mtu mwenye unaweza try vizuri working at night, please do. Kama ni mtu wa kuamka asubuhi, please do. Okay? Now, ukitaka kujua a very good way to get to understand the sleeping pattern, lala for a certain time. Then, not usiweke alarm, wacha uamke. Kama jaribu kulala mapema, then uone kama utalala. Then uone time yenye utaamka. Ukiona umestruggle kulala, lala late. Na uone just study yourself. Macho yako unafeel aje? Una feel like you're straining too much at night, please don't do that. Okay, feel like you're just okay, please kaa mpaka saa 9 usiku. I know of a person mwenye anatanga mpaka saa 9 na ikifika dunia atalala mpaka 9 and 10 and they are so like they do well. That's just it. Angalia like how like brain yako inataka kulala for how long. Don't spend. Ati tunasemanga ati when you sleep 8 hours, you're sleeping a quarter of your life. If that is what you need so that you will have a maximum energy for the day, mama, please sleep. That's what my dad nakumbuka alikuwa anasema kama kuna kitu yenye kuna dini moja yenye hawezi torokea ni deni ya usingizi. So get to master your sleeping pattern. Body yako inahitaji as much as possible. Lala even without an alarm. Kama you don't need to be somewhere in the morning or if so, please like this is why being not being employed, that's the benefit. That's the benefit of not being employed. So if you are employed, please get to understand your sleeping pattern. Kama mwili yako inahitaji kulala 8 hours, get to bed early. There's nothing that you will do. There's nothing that you will do that cannot be done tomorrow. Then another thing, kuna kitu yenye nasema ni this thing mbona imepotea. There's something I always say is nimekumbuka. Some things you may think to kosa kuifanya sahi, it will be of better, like greater impact, but the cost of it is great. Sijui kama hello. The cost of it. A very good example. Unaweza amua kulala usiku sana, amwaki nini. Ukienda job unaanza kulala. Ukifika class unalala class. Ukipata during the day you don't have energy. Your eyes are so sleepy. The cost that you'll have to pay for that transmitting for that night is greater than hata ingelala then ukuje job. Okay? Like your body will be so exhausted. Sijui kama mnajua kuna kwanga na diseases that arise from lack of sleep. Sijui kama mnajua. So as much as possible, get to understand yourself. And the day that you'll get to understand yourself, trust me, you'll get even to understand the other person. Stop living with this fantasy of like, this is how it's supposed to be done. This is how it's supposed to be done. Even the manner hatuna empathy on people. Okay? What's your take? What's your take? Karibu. Hope salama.
Niko salama. The discussion has been hot today. Naona mko on hadi 10.
Yes, karibu.
Yes. However, I do not understand what you guys are talking about. Kindly give me like a short brief, just a small 2 minutes brief on what I should know and how I should. Then I'll think about what I should say. Thanks.
Okay, so we are discussing on this principle of arouse in the other person and eager one, and our base as of now we are discussing on. Let me just read it through. Most people go through college and learn to read and master the mystery of calculus without ever discovering how their mind functions. For us, what we are doing is we are explaining on how to get to master yourself so that you may want to value to the other person and also have empathy. Like usianze kucriticize watu wengine just because of a certain analogy. Get to understand yourself. A very good example is for me, Naja, okay, pardon me for saying this, but mimi mwenyewe niko na ADHD mbaya sana. For me, I usually forget things a lot. Ndio maana kwa handbag yangu sikosangi notebook. And unaweza dhani niliassume or something, but I tend to forget fast. And one of the reasons nilikuja kujua is I usually have pressure. Nijiwekeanga pressure sana. At the same time, silalangi vizuri. Maybe niko busy or something like I said, I need to meet this target. So what we're discussing is how do we get to understand ourselves in manner to put together the sleeping patterns so that we also be of importance to the other person and also not like we have empathy. Basically, that's what we're discussing.
Okay, kama nimekuelewa vizuri, it's falling along the lines of you should have enough rest and you should know yourself.
Yes.
But I highly think, unajua at this point, if most of us are like 20 something, we are in a phase where we are in a journey that is full of discovering and rediscovering ourselves from what we like, what we don't like, and where we hope to be in the next few years. So I wouldn't say know yourself because even me, I think Paliniko, I do not know myself. I am discovering myself and everything about me.
I think you've gotten that. Florida, thank you. Get to learn and relearn yourself. That's amazing. I was listening to this lady, alikuwa anasema, she's at 40, but each year she gets to learn a new thing about herself. I think the major thing is stop, okay, as much as possible, get to understand that people are focusing on themselves, so also focus on your own interests here. So as this journey, get to learn and relearn about yourself. Basically that. Like, ukiwa 20 years old, ujipata maybe unalala for this span of time. Then ukifika 30, unaona, maybe energy yako iko juu. Then okay, like, are you willing to learn and relearn yourself each time and embrace you? Okay? When you get be comfortable with yourself, trust me, even the world will notice. When you get to heal your own demons, trust me, you'll also heal so many people. Nona Kelvin raised his hand for Kelvin.
I hope my network right now it will stop buffering.
Yes.
Yes, but wow, that's very important. I just wanted to add something. I've been thinking of something like a phone. There is a research that was done, and they say that phone has close to 5,000 uses. But of course, the person who wrote or the person who manufactured phone, he knew the 5,000 uses of a phone, but we only use to 4 or 5 times. Five. We use it in 5 to 10 different ways.
Tumekwama in 5 different ways. Proceed from there.
I'll work on my network. But I will try. So it means that the phone remains with 4,990 other usage that some of us or all of us, me included, maybe I don't even use for the 10 purposes. I use for less, but it remains that there is 4,990 untapped possibilities of my phone. Right? And I feel it's important, if you get back to the manufacturer, there are certain things that he can be able to show you about the phone, about the car, or about anything. If you really want to get the original purpose of it, it means you have to get to the manufacturer. So in as much as I like the discussion that we are talking about discovering ourselves. I can tell you the truth. There are so many people. There are so many people who live and they will never discover themselves. It's true. A man will live 40 years, 50 years and never discover himself, live in a vacuum that I feel there is something I want to do or there is something I wanted to do. And some come to discover at the age of 70. And I can tell you, already when you discover yourself at the age of 70 or the age of 60, you are already against time, or time is against you. So I feel at the age of 20, this is the best time. I am a true believer of books. I'm a true believer of psychology, but I'm also a true believer of God. That if we really need to understand our purpose, if we really need to understand why you are created, go back to your manufacturer. Not even your parent can define that. And my sister Florida has mentioned something, when we are at the age of discovery, meaning when we talk about discovery, it means it's something you're supposed to find out. It's something you need to find out. And
something you need to find out. Proceed from there.
Okay, so if we really need to discover ourselves, I'll say 3 things. That number 1, you need to look up. You look up to God. You look inward. You look into your abilities, your possibility, your giftings. I can tell you everybody has a gift, including the worst person on earth. There is a special ability that God has given him. That is the gift. And there is something that person can do. It's true. So you look upward if you want to discover yourself. You look up to God, your creator, your manufacturer. And then you look inward, and then you look outward. The things that surrounds you, your friends. What do your friends say? Some of the people are listening to me here. Maybe your friends tells you you'll become a pastor. Some tell you, you'll become a businesswoman or a businessman. Sometimes it's God using them. So you look upward, inward, and outward. That is the process of self-discovery. Thank you, and God bless you guys.
Look upwards, inwards, and outward. Amazing. I think hata tukiweza kumalizia hapo tuko sawa. Naona Madam Florida she's asking a question. She's asking, what new thing have you all discovered about yourself? For me, I'll answer one. Nimekuja kujua. One is that one is on ADHD. It's time. Two, I'm a very creative person and I love thinking outside the box. I don't like being confined. Three, I like going, but under thinking outside the box. I don't like going by the rules. I hate rules. I love creating my own rules. Wacha nichomeke, I'll learn on the way. Yes, I don't know. Maybe the rest, maybe you can share your discovery.
Now, with regards to what I've discovered about myself, I think I'm an overly sensitive sort of human being in terms of I tend to get sensitized easily in social gatherings. Sometimes I find myself uneasy in a social gathering because of the energy around. But over time, I've attended a number of social events and I learned how to blend in, how to find that niche of people that you can talk to because of shared interest. So I've learned that being overly sensitive doesn't serve me well because at the end of the day, I'll get out of a social event without really getting the benefit of social capital because of not willing to interact with people because I feel like maybe they'll do something that will make me respond in a way that will affect my mood. So I've learned that over time, the best thing for me or anyone in a social gathering, like to gain that social capitalism of that, is just by being open-minded, be open to interact with people, because at the end of the day, humans are sort of a bunch of mysteries that you need to explore to get to know what's good for you and what's not good for you. Yeah.
Oh, hapa ndo tunasema wisdom. Someone else who is willing to share. Oh, Nona Kelvin amesema, I have discovered that I'm an introvert and also some glimpse of I exist on earth that brings peace and fulfillment in my life. Okay. That's nice. Really, it's so good to get to have like what you love doing. There is pardon me for me, I usually listen to a lot of podcasts. The owner of Amazon, Mark Zuckerberg, alikuwa anasema for him, and it's either, is it three? You choose a career, you choose a career, you choose employment, or you choose service. Employment is basically get a job and blah 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 blah. Career is you focus on what brings food on your table. It's either you're employed or you have your own job. Basically, I can't get about having your own job and having a job. Right? But service is when you focus on the people so that you may deliver value to them, and out of that you get to have some gain. But the main focus is on them. Hata ukiangalia for most successful people, most of them serve people like their service, some of their products serve greater than actually how it serves them. Kwa sababu angalia the owner of Microsoft, nadhani alifikiria vitu ngapi na alilose how much money to come up with that a software called ama ni software ama that device ama that system called Microsoft. I would think of I was listening to the owner of Amazon, his story. Akisema venye alianza mwenye alikuwa anafanya kazi, he shared the idea with them, akamwambia this idea will be good for somebody who doesn't have a good job and school. Akamwambia hapana. Okay, akasema for me I'm doing this for the people and creating a system where they won't have to go to shops or anything so that they may be able to get a book or something. But I'll create something where to be so affordable one for them. Na pia itakuwa inawaletea something of the sort. So what service or what are you bringing to society? That's the main thing. Nakumbuka Madam Katikuna alikuwa anasema when you choose service or when you choose purpose, money will follow. Because money answers to all things. I think I should repeat that. Money answers to all things. Like money comes to solve a question. So what question have you placed in your life so that must get solved? Kama ni watoto kutaki, trust me, ninajua wakulima wenye wamefunza watoto peke yao, because the only people that they were serving is them and their kids. But I know people who are serving millions of people and they have millions of money. So the amount of service will always be equally ama tunasema ngaje, will be directly proportional to your income. Your service will be directly proportional to your income. Yes. So, ninaongea sana. Thank you for that, Mr. Calvi. Naona Florida hapa anasema I have discovered I'm privileged in life and I should be more gracious to other people who do not come from privileged background. Amazing. Hao ndio watu wenye tunasemanga ni the keys to doors zenye ziko huko juu. Hao ndio watu wa NGO na watu such kind of people ndio tunafaa kuwa nao kwa our government, than watu wenye they are just there for their own selfish motives. Hapa pia wanasema Florida anasema also I have discovered that I study through emotion. Oh, Florida, can you explain that? How do you study through emotions? Hapa lazima I take some notes. Maybe pia mimi na hii issue na sijui.
Hi everyone. Akituaoni, and the meeting is more lively when I see people. It's more of like a meeting. Kama if you're comfortable or you're open, mfungueni tu camera niwaone. It seems more fun. Anyways, I said, one, I have discovered that I am privileged in life and I should be more gracious to people who do not come from privileged backgrounds. I have attended events, including the one that I'm in right now, and I have noticed kuna a very big disparity in the way I behave, I act around, and the way I see life with some of the students I am with over here who are intergames, tumeenda intergames somewhere with other students from school. And so I'm growing more conscious of the fact that I've had a lot in life, and I've come from a very good background, privileged background, a happy home, a very loving, caring home, and some people do not have that. And when they do not have that, you might take it offensively when they do start saying actions towards you. However, they are not coming from a place of hurting you. They're not coming from a place of trying to hurt you emotionally or mentally or physically. They're just not where you are in life. And there are people trying to survive and fight for their life. For example, let me give a short example that has just happened recently. Pocket money. Tulipewa 3K pocket money. For me, I really consider that small money. However, I noticed some of the girls who were with here, they were really happy, excited, and were like, hey, so we got a 3K from the school. And I just realized I'm from privilege and I have to be really gracious of the fact that some people aren't. And when they have something, that's my point. Point number 2, I study through emotions. Sasa kuna different study styles. Kuna a different study styles. However, for me, I study through emotions. By that I mean, I'm a very emotional person. If I'm in an exam room and I'm asked to describe something, and for example, I'm asked to describe something, I never recall the things I read. I always recall the emotions I felt while I was reading that particular topic, and from then on, I can recall the topic I was reading. So my starting point is the emotion. And for me to recall the emotions, I have to always be in an emotional space while studying. That includes mimi kusikianga music. I cannot study without music. I need to have music. I can't nikisikia music while I'm studying so that I can process emotions at that particular point while I'm studying a particular piece. Ndio nikiwa exam room ama when I'm supposed to present something, I recall maybe the song I was listening to and what I was feeling at that particular point and what emotions I had attached to that piece. Then I can recall I had attached and certain emotions to this piece, and now I recall the piece I was studying. If, for example, I'm asked to describe a cup, I won't just recall there was a cup. I'll recall when I saw the cup, I felt really good about it. I liked the color. I, however, did not like the shape because of A, B, C, and D. However, everything revolves around my emotions. That's it. There are different studying styles. Let me just get them for you, but that's it for me. Kama hujanielewa niambie nirudie in a more structured way. But
Actually, you need to talk Florida. No, for example, yes, myself. For me, I can't concentrate for the noise or maybe too much light or something of the sort. So, utasema mimi my study style ni gani? Yangu ni books and and focus.
No. Let me get you the different examples of study styles. Then you can identify yours from them. There are people who need to listen to the lecturer speaking. Wakiwa class. There are people like me who, after wasipo attend class, they will still pass. There are people who study through reading past papers or memorizing what they have read. There are people who visualize, they will read it, visualize what they have read and how that relates to their lives. Then they understand it from their own perspective. You get me? But for me understand my whole world revolves around emotion. And I think it's powerful because I have discovered I have ability to relive a certain moment in life. Even if it was 2 years ago, I can bring myself to relive that moment as long as I can recall that emotion. I can just sit down, recall the emotion, and then feel everything in a perspective back to how that moment was. Yeah. But let me get you the different study styles. There is Feynman, there is da-da-da-da-da.
Okay, amazing. I think after we go back to get to understand the mind. Hey, man, I think after me I need to do my homework. So one, this is something I would like us to discuss. We'll have this discussion tomorrow during the day. During the day, like stay at book like such time, but just asking, what do you think your study style? Are you someone that can read through music? Are you someone that needs sort of silence? Are you someone that can read in mind? Are you someone that can read in the morning. Like get to understand yourself so that you will be as valuable first to yourself as much as possible, then to the other person. So that's one thing. I think we need to do a lot of homework on this. Get to understand yourself, get to understand how your brain works, and so that we'll be able to understand even the other person. Hata nilikuwa nashangaa, my sister anapenda kusoma na music. Kwa sasa wewe unaelewa nini kusoma? Basi hapo nilikuja kuja kwa somebody can start like they study with what that's amazing. So sijui Calvin, what do you think your study style is? Since nimepata a new way or a new survey. Of course, before that, Nana Florida may raise up her hand. Yes, Florida.
I have something to say. I think it's important everyone address study style yake because it not only helps you school wise kupita, but also when you're in the workplace and you need to present information to your boss, to your supervisor or to different stakeholders, and you do not understand that information or you need to read through different information. Once you know your study style, you can incorporate some techniques to learn information, much information within the quickest time possible. Yes, which can save you a lot of time in your work environment.
Wow. Wacha nirudi kwa Calvin. Mimi nitamchomea, alikosa jana meeting. Na yeye ndio mkubwa. Calvin, unadhani your study style ni gani? What's your study style? I'm a Bruce, Nana Bruce, Amina. In by the way, in Brixton. Welcome. David Kamau, karibu. Yes.
Okay, so thank you for the opportunity. So for me, my study style is okay. Number one, I took time to understand how the brain of a human beings works. And I came to discover that a human being brain works in form of pictures. For instance, you'll remember ukiwa pale viprima, hiyo time yenye mode akifunza how he used to taught, angekuonyesha this is a cup. And then you'll notice that when he mentioned a cup, as Florida mentioned, is that you doesn't see the name cup. What you see is an image of a cup as you were told at first. Maybe it was a white cup. So the moment anybody will mention cup, is the image of an object that you are told it's called a cup that will appear. Right? That is one of the most powerful discoveries that I discovered, that in every human being, the way we work is through pictures. That our mind works through pictures. So, and then that is one of the ways I used to I use, for me, that is one of the learning methods. Number two, I use a rule called the rule of 3. And of course our parents were educated. Unakumbuka hiyo day yenye you did something weird and your mom said, alikuita mara ngapi? Julia, so and so. How many times did I call you? It's called a rule of 3. It's one of the most powerful rules that if you can be able to capture things in form of 3, you'll notice is one of the most powerful way to study. It is. So I use the rule of 3 in anything, and of course pictures. That is what really works for me. And of course there are times I need to put a music, as Florida mentioned. Yeah, I'm a believer, so when I'm reading scriptures, I need to put a certain atmosphere, maybe just a worship song when I'm reading the Bible, when I'm doing my devotionals. So I just put a music at the background. It also works for me. But those are the 3 that I mostly use. Thank you, Beth.
Okay, so there is something that you stated, atmosphere. Since while reading the Bible, you put at a certain type of song. So Sehemu unasoma unaekanga atmosphere gani? Tuambie atmosphere ni gani ndio sisi tujue. And even I'm sure hapo kuna students, we get to like inform them which atmosphere unafaa kuwekea, like we are studying since kuna tunaweza study through emotions, now they study through the music. So which kind of atmosphere? Atmosphere. Oh my god, I don't like Kenyan. Which kind of atmosphere should one set while studying, while working, while maybe doing some exercise? Can you take us through that?
So thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate, and thank you everybody for joining. Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you. Feel valued, feel appreciated indeed. So it depends. I think one of the most important thing is to know what really works for you. Yeah, what really. Thank you, Florida. Thank you so much for beautiful research. So I believe one of the most profound thing is really to come to a place where you really discover what really works for you. Just be intentional and come to a place where you'll discover what really works for you. But it's important also, as Beth has directed the question, for us to share experiences. But I need to say that, this is a personal dealing. What really works for me might not really work for Florida. But Florida everybody has an option of sharing his own experience, which might not really
Umepotea. Kelvin, hatukusikii. Calvin, kindly work on your microphone.
Okay, as we wait for him, I have sent the different types of reading styles. Just nimetuma kwa group the PDF of what they mean. Read through it, understand yako ni gani, and then once you know yako ni gani, look online on ways to improve on it so that you effectively study within the shortest time possible. Hope you have learned something today.
A lot. Thank you for that, Florida. Me myself, I always say you have learned that. I think we usually assume a lot of things as Africans. Yes, but at least nimejua such things apart from us me learning it for myself. At least I'll get to have this certain practice kuweza kumdirect. So sijui kama Kelvin unaweza endelea. Ni kama haiwezekani. So let's wind up in our last point, and I will just take it to become a parting shot. When we have a brilliant idea, instead of making others think it's ours, why not let them cook and start the idea themselves? They will then regard it as their own. They will like it and maybe it's a couple of helpings of it. You may learn here. Let me just rephrase. Let me just read through. When we have a brilliant idea, instead of making others think it's ours, why not let them cook and start the idea themselves? They will then regard it as their own. They will like it and maybe eat a couple of the helpings of it. A good example ni mtoto anaweza kata kukula, and it's an example yenye ilikuwa stated hapo kwa the book. For there was this girl mwenye alikuwa anakata kukula, and the dad and the mom wakashangaa, sasa what do we do? Wakasema basi since like, oh my god, pardon my Kenyanism. Since anapenda kusaidia like the parents to prepare dinner ama breakfast and all that, wakamwacha atengeneze the breakfast, and she was so excited. She ate the breakfast and she had a good time. So the same thing, kama trust me, so many people want to be involved with something, and maybe after single, let me just rephrase that. Some people maybe actually they are not interested in doing something, but you showing them that they are of value to you or to that project, they will give him topmost as they will have done this. It has always worked. Always worked. A very good example is how employees do. Wataenda waseme give a proposal to the boss. Now there's always this one rule: don't outshine the master. Na hiyo I think ndio one thing mimi nafanyanga msitaka point. Don't outshine the master. So if I cannot outshine the master, that means it's not good. And the best way to make your proposal go further is when uambie boss, huyu boss ataona ikienda niambie mkubwa, sasa mkubwa wake utaonyesha like, and you show them like, you show the boss like venye hiki tutamtengeneza jina. Trust me, the boss will be willing to help in the project. Even another example, when you go and introduce a proposal to investors and you want to have them as part of your company, maybe you want them to be part of the board, you want that person to be your co-founder or something. The best way is to introduce that thing and let them feel their own. Come and let the two of you, the three of you, the five of you build that thing together. They will feel it as their own. They will own up as their own, and trust me, grow. And hata utawapush. Na mkianzisha ka project ama mnataka kunini hata mko shule or something, anzisha kitu useme this and this and this, then watu wasema kuja waleta ideas, but keep the vision with me ikwe moja. Naona vile kama chochote zinakuwa like ni mtu alifikiria alikuwa na calling, but ameweka hii kitu imekuwa ya kila mtu na the church will grow. The same thing. So bring it up what ilikuwa like a team thing. Trust me, you will grow. Okay? So maybe you can share your thoughts about it as we wind up. Yes.
Hello. Now, to wrap this all up, what I can say is the only way for you to build lasting and positive relationships across every aspect of your life, try as much as possible to be genuine in your interactions. If it's appreciation, offer it in a genuine manner. If you're empathizing, do it in such a way that both parties, at the end of the day, are going to derive benefit from that. And lastly, for you to maybe establish a mutual basis of benefit, try to frame your ideas in terms of benefits. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Bruce. Anyone else wants something to say? na pia maybe stating the parting shot as we are winding up. Okay, kama watu wametulia. Yes. Thank you for joining us tonight, this evening. I'll finish up by stating, okay, before I state this, for those who join late or maybe unatoka kurudi maybe technical problems ama financial not working. Yes, Brother Florida amesema tomorrow we start with everyone's study style. So sijui unamaanisha we start it in the morning since we usually have the morning discussion ama the evening discussions. Kindly tuambie precise as you proceed. So you can find the video on our YouTube channel. I'll share it with you immediately after this, maybe after 1 hour or so. I'll post it there. You can check it out. Also, you can find the short videos on our TikTok, still EWS, so you can check them out on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn kama uko huko, Taggers, Facebook, tuko kila mahali. Please do so. Hope you've learned a lot, and hope you've learned that one, and hoping to learn even more from you tomorrow evening and as you progress. So thank you for your time, and as we wind up, I want to leave you with a quote that Owen Young, our Gina, yeah, Owen Young, a noted lawyer and one of the America's greatest business leaders, saying, people who cannot put themselves in the place of other people, people who cannot understand the working of their mind, need never worry about the future has in store for them. Let me just repeat that. People who can put themselves in the place of other people, as one, who can understand the working of their mind, need never worry about the future it has in store for them. Basically, what we've been talking about: one, understand the other person and get to serve them, don't have a selfish motive, and two, get to understand yourself. That is the big so nice discussion. So, get to have that, and hoping to see you. Have a lovely night. Yes, and take care. Good night.